30-minute live session. I'm Ify, your host, your go-to immigration lawyer here in Charlotte, North Carolina, help clients all over the USA. So come on in, especially those of you who are here in the USA on a tourist visa. This live is for you. We're talking about what happens next after you get married on a tourist visa. Very important topic. Half of my clients, more than half, in fact, are people who are on tourist visas who are seeking to adjust their status through marriage. So come on in. Let's discuss the three most important things you need to know if you are a tourist in the USA and you're married to a US citizen or a permanent resident. We're going to get into that. And then at the end, I'm going to answer your questions. So as you're watching me, those of you on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and TikTok, keep your questions coming. I'm going to look at the questions every once in a while and just answer as we go along. All right? Welcome in, guys. I see Shakira. I see Shoaib as the first one here. Thank you very much. On Instagram, I see Ant-Man. Thank you, Ant-Man, for being here. Are you the real Ant-Man? The real Marvel Ant-Man. I see Faye Jones. Come on in, invite your friends. Let's talk about what to do next if you are in a situation where you got married to your US citizen or a permanent resident boyfriend when you were visiting the USA. What is your next step? Very important. And just for those of you who are seeing me for the first time, again, I'm Ify, USA immigration attorney. Okay, I can help clients all over the USA. And today I want to talk to you about the process of adjusting your status through marriage, especially if you came into the USA on a non-immigrant temporary visa. All right. If you don't know these things, guys, you run a risk of even getting your green card denied or worse, being banned from entering the USA ever. So keep in mind what you need to know before you apply to get your green card through marriage. Okay? All right, my first point today, guys, is just simply discussing what it means to actually change your status from your B1, B2 visa to green card. What does that actually mean, right? Because if you come into the USA on a temporary visa, you're required to go back to your home country after your stay is expired, right? They usually give you like 3 months, 6 months, depending on what you're coming in for. If it's medical or school or business or a conference, all right? All those things determine how long you're going to have to stay in the USA. And after that, you're supposed to go back home. But if you want to stay permanently, if you want to work, if you want to live in the USA, you will need to adjust your status. And for those of you watching right now, you're adjusting your status through marriage. Okay, adjusting is changing from visitor to permanent residence. All right. So if you are eligible to adjust your status when you're in the USA because you got married to your US citizen fiance, boyfriend, and all that stuff, you will then need to show proof of that marriage and show your intentions being legit. You didn't just marry them just because you didn't want to go back. You married them because you wanted to build a future together. If you show all those criteria and you don't have any other misrepresentations or any other visa bans on your record, you should be able to adjust your status to become a green card holder, a permanent resident yourself. Okay? That's the first important thing you need to know if you're here in the USA on a B1, B2, seeking to live here forever, essentially. Okay? Thank you very much for your question, Ant-Man. I'm going to jump into that question. My links and contact information is going to be in the comment section. If you're watching me on YouTube, Facebook, and on Instagram, you can check the link in my bio or just go to my website, marriagegreencard.us, to find my contact information so we can discuss in detail if you're in this category of people who entered on a tourist visa and they're now seeking to change from being a tourist to a resident. Okay. Ant-Man's question is relating to citizenship. And you all know that to become a US citizen, you need to have your green card for a certain amount of time and then do all of that. Okay. But Ant-Man wants to know, how many countries can you have US citizenship? Well, can you have citizenship in? Okay, great question, Ant-Man on Instagram. And the short answer to that will be, it depends on your country of origin. Some countries do not accept dual citizenship, and you'd have to give up one citizenship to get the other from a different country. Other countries don't really care. You know, especially if you're born in that country of origin, you're still able to maintain that passport and just, be a citizen by birth. So I think it really depends on your country of origin. Now, where are you from, by the way? I'm from Nigeria. For those of you who don't know, I'm originally from Nigeria. I came into the USA as an immigrant as well, just like you all. Most of you were watching me, because sometimes I get messages from the U.S. citizens too. I mean, because you're part of this process, right? In a big way, because without that relationship, your spouse, your boyfriend, your husband, wife, are not going to be able to adjust their status or live here permanently. And if you make them live here without adjusting their status, sometimes that could cause other complications, because you could get deported if you don't have a green card and you're just living here, right? Just maybe you don't need to work because your spouse earns enough. You just don't care, living your life. It could cause problems down the line. So definitely a requirement to anyone who wants to stay in the USA. After entering on one type of visa and you want to stay, you have to adjust. Okay? Ant-Man, you are in Georgia. So are you a US citizen then? Were you born in Georgia? As a US citizen, I'm not really sure how you're going to seek citizenship in other countries, because the U.S. has relationships with some other countries where you can travel into and enter and even stay for 6 months at a time and work and do all those things, but only for a short period. So not really sure about other countries and their rules and how that works in terms of citizenship, okay? But for people who entered the USA on a temporary visa, a B1, B2 visa, a student visa, you're going to want to listen to this second point I'm about to discuss, because this is very important to determine if that your request to adjust status is going to be approved or not. Okay? You have to understand that once you enter in on a temporary visa, there's already complications relating to misrepresentation. And misrep is just essentially lying, when you're not telling the truth about your intentions, right? Anyone who enters on this temporary visa could potentially face some consequences, which, like I said earlier, could be a denial or a permanent bar from entering the USA, because your initial intention when you applied, right? You're like, I want to go to Disney, I want to see my family. You didn't really say, I have a boyfriend or a girlfriend and I plan to get married. You didn't say all that. You just kind of said the first part, which may be true, right? Because you have family and all of that. But there's definitely that thought or that presumption that you are misrepresenting your intent, especially when you do get married once you come into the USA and then apply to adjust your status. Right? That's the second point I'm going to discuss in this live. And I see lots of questions on TikTok. Let me scroll through. Guys, thank you very much for participating. I mean, if you all weren't here, this live wouldn't be happening. But you all come every Tuesday, every Thursday to join us for this live session. I really appreciate it. So thank you for your questions coming in. So I'm going to pause here for a bit, let you all think about what I just said and look through these questions and give you some answers. But essentially, the first point I made is, if you entered on a B1, B2, you need to adjust your status. You need to change. You need to change from one status to the other. The second point I made is to understand that there might be some misrepresentation. If you entered the USA with the intent of staying temporarily, meanwhile, you already had a boyfriend or fiance or a girlfriend and planned to change your status once you enter the USA. There will be, the USCIS has all your records. If you came in on a visa, they have all your records in terms of knowing what you said at the border, how you responded to the questions, right? And if there's any indication that you already knew that you were going to get married and plan all this is quite different from someone who comes into the USA, is on vacation, and they meet someone on vacation at the airport, however, and then they get married. That's quite different from those who plan it ahead of time. Okay. All right. So questions coming in on TikTok. Thank you again. Let me look through and see ones I can answer. Thank you for sharing this live with your friends and also sending some likes and hearts on TikTok. Thank you very much. I think those actually translate into money, if I'm not mistaken, on TikTok. TikTok pays for lives, guys. Did you guys know that? For those of you who are looking for jobs, if you're an immigrant and you're feeling like I need to get my green card to work right now, you can start practicing making content on TikTok, and that stuff pays. So eventually when you become a permanent resident, or when you actually get your work permit, you already have a job. Okay, so don't sit around trolling on the internet. Use your creativity on TikTok. Okay. So Purple says, my friend needs to find a husband so she can get her green card. Purple, this is a very common comment that I get on my lives. A lot of people see me, the marriage green card lawyer, and they think I have husbands and wives somewhere in my purse. And honestly, I don't. So Purple, thanks for being here and for commenting and participating in the live, but I don't have husbands or wives anywhere, guys. You all need to get married. When you're married and you come to my law firm, we can help you with filing a marriage-based green card. Obviously, we're going to check to see that this is a real marriage, because sometimes some people come with some stories and I'm just like, yeah, no. Because if I can smell that it's a fraud marriage or just a very rushed situation, USCIS sure as hell can. Okay. So definitely make sure you're getting married for the right reasons. And apart from green card marrying somebody that is not your purpose mate or someone that you're compatible with is just like some type of life sentence you're putting yourself into. I just don't think it's worth it. There are so many people out there. Don't be impatient. If you're looking to be married for real, you're going to meet that person that's for you. So very big decision, guys. Don't just be marrying people for marrying's sake. Okay? All right. I see lots of people joining on Instagram as well as TikTok. Thank you very much. Call me Chef Ifani. I have not seen you in a long time. Thanks for being here. Psycho. Is that the Psycho that I know? Or Psycho? I think that's how you say it. Psycho. How are you? It's been a very long time. Also, D Intense says, I got my SSN but no EAD. Okay. For AOS. That's a lot of acronyms. SSN, Social Security number, but no EAD, Employment Authorization Document. For my AOS, which is Adjustment of Status, which is what I talked about in my first point, which you all need to do if you want to live permanently in the USA. So we're U.S. citizen. Is this normal? No updates on the website, though. D Intense. It's normal. Sometimes they send things out of order, but you're still going to get that. That's a good sign. If you got your SSN, which is your Social Security number, that means they already approved your work permit and you're going to get that soon enough. Okay? Great question, though. Thank you very much. And give me a thumbs up on Instagram, on TikTok, if you're getting some value from these answers I provide. And just keep in mind that this is not full legal advice, since I am not your attorney. We're just here live. So this is a public forum. You can DM me, you can send me an email, text, and someone on my team can help you figure out if we can provide a service for you and tell you how to sign up with us. But here, I just want to provide information that empowers immigrants so you can know what your options are if you're looking to actually live in the USA permanently and have a full life. Okay? Yeah, Chef Ifeanyi, where have you been? ever since. I think you're currently waiting for your green card too, right? Through marriage. What's going on with your status right now? Have you been checking, or what's the update? Okay. All right. So D Intense, thank you for that question. Mr. Shamant, hello. You're from Benin. You're Beninese. Ooh, is that how they say that? Beninese, near Nigeria. I guess it's Benin Republic. Yeah. Beninese. Let me know if I'm saying that correctly. I've never seen it spelled out like that. But you can inbox me, you can send me a DM. I do get like hundreds and hundreds of DMs. Sometimes I'm just not able to respond to all of them, or I just miss the important ones. So if you really have a serious question or you need legal advice, please just book a call with me. Or like I said, give me a call. Our phone number is on TikTok or on the screen if you're watching on YouTube and Facebook right now. You can see that number. So give us a call straight away, and someone will definitely be able to guide you in the right direction. Okay? All right. Let's see. Who else I got here? The Intense, I think I just answered your question. Are you asking a different one? Not sure. I'm seeing the same names pop up, but you all feel free to re-ask your question in case I missed it, especially on TikTok, because it just kind of goes like that. And there's a lot of you here. So thank you again. So I've answered some questions. I'm going to say my final point and hope that this helps you all understand what your options are to actually get a green card once you do get married to a U.S. citizen or a permanent resident while in the USA. Okay, I will add something though. It's not on my notes, but I want to just mention that for those of you married to permanent residents, there are some backlogs going on right now. So with that in mind, you may be eligible to get a green card, but you may not be eligible to adjust your status right away. And second of all, let me turn this off. And second of all, if you are out of status for whatever reason, maybe you came in at a B1, B2, and you got married, to your U.S. citizen fiance, but then your stay, they give you 6 months to stay expired. This is the 7th month that you got married and you haven't applied to just your status. That may be an issue for those of you married to permanent residents. So these are just things to keep in mind. Okay, if you're coming to the USA planning on doing this stuff, definitely talk to an attorney first. Every situation is going to be different, right? Because you certainly can adjust your status from a B1, B2. This is like I said, more than half of my clients. But you just have to make sure in your case there's no red flags or things that could cause issues down the line. All right? Thanks for joining, Betty and Beauty. Lots of interesting names I see on here on the internet. But anyways, let's just get to the final points because I know you all are dying for me to answer these questions live, and I definitely want to. In fact, in the future, we're going to be doing joining us on camera. Actually, I think we do that in the group. So maybe you should join our Facebook group. We can do that in the group where we do one-on-one live consults every Friday. So you can come on video and just kind of talk to me, ask your questions. I'm really chill, as you all know. So we could just kind of chit-chat about it and get to some solutions. And if it gets to a point where you do need an attorney, I'll be there to also help with that. Okay? But so the final point I'll mention is the 90-day rule. The 90-day rule that could potentially save you if you entered in a tourist visa and you're looking to actually become a permanent resident. Okay, keep in mind, tourist visa, temporary, permanent resident, permanent. It's in the name, permanent resident. Okay, green card is just the name that we call it. It's not actually a green card, it's permanent residency. Okay, the 90-day rule, a lot of you hear 90-day fiance, that comes from the 90-day rule. It says that any non-immigrant, anyone who enters on a temporary visa but waits for at least 3 months, 90 days before they actually apply to get a green card, we're going to just basically let that go, because after 3 months, generally You're going to find out the true intent of a person. You're going to know if they actually entered in to get married. Maybe they knew this person before, or if they just met the person in the USA. It's usually easier in that scenario versus meeting someone and within a month you're getting married. 30 days. It's like, whoa. Did you just meet? Because if you just met, how did that? I mean, I don't know. It was the first day you talked for 24 hours. The next day somebody proposed. And I don't know. It just seems too weird. But 3 months can make sense. Okay, because you all know that for the green card process, you don't actually need to have a wedding. You just need to go to court and get a marriage license. So that could happen. Okay. But any other thing aside from that is going to be like, yeah, side eye, you planned this, now denied. Okay. Don't let them give you side eye. If you entered in on a tourist visa, make sure you're waiting at least 90 days before you actually apply to adjust your status. Right? If you get married before 90 days, still wait before you actually apply to adjust your status. Contact an attorney, because this is a red flag and a big issue when it comes to admissibility. Okay, I've said it time and time again on this channel that eligibility is different from admissibility. You're eligible, you married a citizen, congrats. But are you admissible though? Because you be lying. You be lying on your application, or you be committing crimes, or you be, well, they actually do the medical part. If you have some medical issues, like TB is a very typical one, they're like, well, how can we trust that you're not going to come in here and spread that stuff? Or different reasons why they make people inadmissible. Thankfully, there are waivers to help people in that type of situation who have true intents to actually build a future with someone. They fell in love, because love is love, right? We don't know how this happens. But you fall in love and you can show evidence that you're really in love. There are waivers, okay? Waiver options, very challenging to win, but possible, okay? I've actually won a medical waiver, which was my very first one. And it was just like, I don't know, dude. I'm like, just take the vaccine, But people have strong religious beliefs against vaccines. And if you do, and you've never taken a vaccine before, then you have a case. And so that's what they came to me. They're like, yeah, I'm not taking this vaccine. Even though I want the green card, never taken a vaccine in my life. Well, actually, he had taken some, but when he was like a child. And in that case, we still won, because when you're a child, you're really not, whatever happens, like in terms of taking vaccines or even entering without a visa, those types of things, they don't hold you accountable because you didn't really have a choice. It was your parents, right? So we were able to still win that. So that's an example of a waiver that you can do. This is a medical waiver. There's other hardship waivers. You have to show hardship of the U.S. citizen, not your hardship, okay? So if your country is like falling apart and it's not safe, you have to show how that's insecure, unsafe country is going to affect your U.S. citizen spouse and not you. Because for you, they don't care. They're like, you're an immigrant, you're a non-citizen, just be gone, go back to your country. But for the citizen, they can't really make them start living in Mexico or Nigeria, those places where there's low career options, low medical options, no safety. They're just not going to make a U.S. citizen do that. So that's where your waiver is going to come from. Kelly Weezy can DM me for sure. Send me a DM on Instagram and we'll get you the right information you need so we can have a chat. If you want to talk with me, my consultations are $199 right now. You can also talk with my paralegal because my schedule gets pretty booked. I get 60 consultations a month and it just gets pretty booked. So I've opened up my paralegal's calendar to fit you all in. So if I'm pretty booked, you can still get the same information from my paralegal who is under my guidance to know what actually works for you or how we can help you. So we provide you documents, we'll evaluate your case, and we'll tell you what to do next. Okay? So link is in the chats again for those of you on YouTube and Facebook and Instagram. Just check out my website, marriagegreencard.us, and also TikTok. Okay. All right. So 007, I'm going to answer your question quickly, but I hope this has helped you all today to understand these three things that could save you from problems and allow you to live permanently in the USA. Okay, give me a thumbs up, guys, so I can know that yes, it's entering. If it's not entering, please ask more questions. Let's get into it more. Okay. So 007 says, I submitted a FYI request to the Department of State for my husband in Ghana to get the entire file. Does it take long to receive? 007, I just laughed because I just did the same thing. It took about 2 months. We got a response. Well, was it 2 months? Maybe 3 months, actually. We got a response, and these people sent us just one document out of the entire file we requested, because they quoted blah blah blah, it's confidential, whatever. But we're gonna fight that, because your FOIA, if you all don't know what that is, people call it FOIA. Well, like, it's a FOIA because it's an acronym. Okay, Freedom of Information Act. It's not a word, it's an acronym. So your FOIA is your right to get information that the government has on you. So I don't know why they are redacting everything and not letting us see. Because in that case, I think this was a non-immigrant visa, B1, B2, that got denied for bogus reasons. And we needed to know, what those reasons were. They weren't trying to disclose that stuff. So 007, it might take a while, but you hear back from them. If you face any pushback where they're not trying to give you what you're requesting, just reach out to us. Let's help you fight that, because we're definitely going to fight it for this, my clients, because, like, what the heck, right? And if don't is a FOIA. Let me just say that again. FOIA. Anytime I hear FOIA, I'm just like, no. So make sure you're doing FOIAs on yourself. If you entered in on a B1, B2, and you're trying to adjust your status, you need to know what the government has on you. You need to know what they wrote down when you were entering, because they ask you all these questions, they put it on the record, it's there. You could potentially see that if you make that request. Okay. All right. Thanks for that question, 007. And I wish you good luck with that process. All right. So for Kelly Weezy says, this is on Instagram, I have a friend that is just married and we haven't applied for AOS. Okay. I have a friend that's just married and haven't applied for AOS, but is being abused emotionally in the marriage. Can that person file VAWA yet? Kelly, yes. Like, I don't know. So if they haven't filed their green card, this is exactly what VAWA is for. If they filed their green card, it's still okay. That's what VAWA is for. So whatever stage you're at, as long as you're married to a U.S. citizen or you have a qualified relative that's abusive to you, you can file a VAWA case. Like, at what point, though, do you think they would have filed VAWA, Kelly? Okay. Mature Money, how are you? Welcome in. But, Kelly, are you feeling me? Or is it the fact that they just got married? Because if they just got married and the abuse already started, I'm pretty sure it didn't just start today. I'm pretty sure during the time of the dating, there was some signs, but they just couldn't really see it or really understand until the marriage happens. Usually I see that switch in couples. They're like, as soon as we got married, they became another person. Very typical. Mature Money, it's been a minute. I haven't seen you on my socials. Hope you're still following me. Today's topic is how to adjust your status after you get married on a tourist visa. That's what we're discussing today. I discussed 3 important things you need to know if that's you that entered in on a tourist visa and now you want to live here permanently. You need to understand first of all, the 90-day rule, very important. That could save you from any future bans or issues that you would have with misrepresentation of your intent. Okay, and then you need to know that you need a green card to actually live here. Don't just get married to a U.S. citizen and think that that's your green card. I can now live here. Marriage alone is not enough, guys. And believe it or not, I've gotten questions about that. People who stay for years and didn't realize they had to do that, maybe because they didn't really want to work. Yeah, every situation is different. So, yeah. Okay, Mature Money, you're still following me. Good. Share this live with your friends. We're coming on every Tuesday and Thursday, and then on Friday in the group. We might add more times in that group, but for now, it's every Friday in the group we do a one-on-one consult. So make sure you're inviting your friends and joining us for that. Okay. Thank you. Okay. Kelly Weezy, yeah. Okay. Well, I'm glad you asked because yes, they can file right now. This is the perfect time for the person to do that. Okay. So please reach out to me about that and we can definitely help you. Okay. 2 months marriage, that's fine. I've seen people's situations change in even shorter amount of times. Right after the marriage. It's all about the intent of the couple. Did they actually have a legit marriage before? Because that's something they're going to look at. Okay. I see some people online sometimes talking about, everyone's just going to claim vow and claim being abused, so blah, blah, blah. It's not only about the abuse, it's about the real marriage as well. Okay. So if they had a real marriage, 2-month-old marriage, we're going to definitely ask more questions and see what's the type of abuse? Is it physical abuse, financial abuse, emotional abuse? Like what's going on? Then we'll put that case together and see what happens. Okay, but that's definitely the first step for that. Okay. Coco Carla on Instagram says, how long is the process for a spouse petitioned by a green card holder? Okay. Process for a spouse petitioned by a green card petitioner, that process can take much longer now because of the backlog. Haven't checked the visa bulletin as of today, so I'm not really sure what that backlog is like, but it's not going to be the same amount of time like immediate relatives, which immediate relatives are spouse, parents, and child under 21 of U.S. citizens. Okay. I see a question on YouTube that says, I have a valid 5 years visa. Can I visit from Africa after we're married and file the petition? Elizabeth, thanks for that question. I'm going to get into it. But Carla, I hope I answered your question about your green card through marriage to another green card holder. It is possible, but as far as timeline, it's just all over the place right now. Okay, and one important thing I mentioned earlier, make sure you are in status. If your spouse is a permanent resident, you can be out of status to do that. Okay. Santana, thanks for joining. I'm glad I'm helping. Okay. Okay, great question. So let's get into Elizabeth's question. I'm seeing so many more like pop up, so I'm gonna answer all of these because I think I've gone through all of my points. I'm gonna do a quick wrap up here, but I'm gonna answer these questions first. In the next, I don't know, 5 minutes or so, we can see what we can do because I believe I do have a consultation coming up. What time is it? Okay. All right. You're welcome, Coco Carla. Yeah, and Kelly, you're welcome as well. Definitely reach out to me because emotional abuse is one of the ways as well that you can get your green card through a valid self-petition. Doesn't always have to be physical abuse, okay? Emotional abuse, financial abuse, all that stuff. In fact, I'm pretty sure within that emotional abuse, we can find other things once we speak, okay? All right, back to Elizabeth's question, which is in line with what we're talking about right now, because we're talking about marriage on a visa. If you come into the USA on a temporary visa and you do get married, what happens next? Okay. Elizabeth says she has a valid 5-year visa, so she's not applying for a new visa, but she's going to be married to a U.S. citizen spouse and they're going to file a petition. So she's wondering if she can visit after that time. And Elizabeth, yes and no. That's going to be the response here, and I'm going to explain that in a little bit. And sometimes, you guys, I mean, this is how it was when I was in law school. Basically, always wondering why answers are never straightforward when it comes to the law. But now, as an immigration attorney, I really understand why. That's just because there are exceptions to every rule in law. Even those who have permanent bans could still qualify for a waiver based on certain criteria. So it's always a yes and a no. So, Elizabeth, yes, you can visit him because number one, you're not applying for a new visa. And if your intention is just to visit for a short time and go back, great. You're already married, you have a I-130 petition pending, fine. No, because with a pending I-130 petition, when you enter into the USA, at the border, they're going to ask you certain questions that you may not be able to answer correctly. You might have to misrepresent your intent, and that could cause problems down the line. Or if you actually come in and don't ever go back and try to adjust, because a petition is just a petition. It's not the actual consular process. It's just the I-130. Anybody can, switch to adjusting when they come in here. So there's still a risk for you in terms of misrep and denials down the line. But the fact that you don't have to apply for a new visa, maybe, you're saving grace here. But make sure you're talking to an attorney for a one-on-one consultation, because the issue lies in what you're going to answer, what's your response at the border, what are you coming here to do? Plus, what is your true intent? Are you planning on coming here and never going back and just adjusting? If that's the case, getting married first is going to just cause problems for you in terms of your intentions entering the USA. Okay? All right. So Santana, okay, your question is at the top. I'll scroll up and try to answer your questions. But Elizabeth, I hope I gave you some clarity on that. And please feel free to reach out to me. My number is on the screen so that we can talk one-on-one about that. Okay? Okay, Santana, I'm looking for your questions. Santana says, I heard approvals are going fast in 2024. And I guess that's just a comment. Okay, let's see. You had another one. Will my Nigerian husband have a good chance of getting a marriage green card this year? I'm in the USA. Your Nigerian husband. Okay, because my question was what country? So I did hear about things going quickly this year. I'm looking forward to that for my clients. Some of them have been waiting for quite some time. And when it comes to doing an expedite or getting any other help, consular processing, not consular, your Congress, getting your Congress involved, sometimes those things still take time. But this year, with the fee increase, one of the things that were promised was faster processing. I'm hoping that, with that being said, if your I-130 gets approved pretty quickly, the Nigerian part shouldn't take too long. There's still a backlog there, I think, in Ghana and Nigeria. And you should be getting your husband in here in the next, 12 to 15 months. It could take up to 2 years right now, but maybe it'll be quicker. I pray so for you in Jesus' name. Amen. So, more questions, guys. There's more, but I think I am past my 5 minutes, but I'll still stay and answer because I don't know. Let me see. Patricia, I don't know if you're saying anything to me because I can't really see. But okay, I guess not. So let's keep on going with the questions. And I should be able to be out of here by 12:45 and still make my appointment. Okay. All right. Who's next? Let's bring this iPad closer, shall we? All right. Kelly, I saw your last question and I've told you to book a call with me. Let's discuss that. Okay? Because your last question is relating to evidence and timeline. And with that, it's just all up in the air for timeline. We can look at 3 years, potentially. But evidence is going to be dependent on what is going on in that marriage. Okay, evidence is subject to us having that conversation. But the typical evidence for emotional abuse is your therapist's evaluation. That's the most common one. If because one is not physical abuse, you don't have scars on you. You need someone to evaluate how that abuse has affected you mentally. Okay. So, but reach out to me. Let's discuss that. Well, or tell your friend to reach out to me because I know you said you're asking for a friend. I hope it's a friend and not, but whoever it is, I'm here to help. Okay. Okay. Diamonds are forever. I hope you're still here. Says I mailed my I-45 when the USIS updated me and they told me to receive it. They received it. Okay. So that's pretty cool. I'm not sure if that was a question or just a comment, but thank you for being here. Anyway, let's see who else. I missed Island Gal. Island Gal, you're always here in my lives. Thank you very much for participating and supporting this page. If you're not already following me, guys, make sure you hit the follow, especially on Instagram, because I don't know, they said they're banning TikTok or whatever. They're probably not, but just follow me on Instagram, YouTube, and Facebook so that you don't miss out on these tips that I share every week to help you all stay informed and stay empowered to go for every benefit that you deserve. Okay, so make sure you're following me and make sure you're contacting me for one-on-one time. Okay. All right. So Island Gal says, what do I do if I haven't received my EAD renewal receipt? It's been 3 months. It's been 3 months. Okay. I think renewal receipts take a longer time than the typical work permit application. That's what I've seen happen here with my clients. If you need that renewal receipt for your employer or something, you might want to contact USCIS and see about maybe potentially expediting because you have a job and you could lose your job if you don't get that. Okay. All right, Island Gal, thank you for your question. Let's see. Okay, yeah, Island Girl, I see that you asked again, and let me just give you another reply because I see that your job is asking for the updates, and that's usually what I see with my clients. When you apply to renew your work permit, they want to see evidence of that new application and that you still qualify to work so that they can, keep your employment. So please reach out. Let's do an expedite, or you can also do it yourself. Expedite is simply showing them whatever letters or notices you're getting from your employers to say they're going to basically release you from your job duties if you don't have proof of employment. So that would help you. Okay. Okay. I can actually write with this. Okay. I'll type that to you in a minute, but let's see here. Other questions. So I see a lot of questions are just like repeating the same thing from same people, but I think I've answered most of them actually. If you're still here and you get your answer, please give me a thumbs up that you actually got your answer from me in this live. And you can feel free to DM me so we can continue the conversation, or just give us a call straight away and somebody will be able to help you for sure to get you the right info that you need. Okay. Okay. Does a sealed arrest interfere with visa process? Thank you. Yes, Bradley. Yes, it does, because nothing can really be sealed from the USCIS. When it comes to immigration, even things that are expunged, any type of criminal history can be found. Okay. All right. Thank you, Bradley. Coley Dawn says, is it better to get married while in status on a visitor's visa or out of status? Coley Dawn, is better to not overstay your status, and it's better to make sure that you didn't have any misrepresentation in your process when you were coming in on that status, because this is exactly what we're talking about today, guys. We're talking about adjusting your status when you are on Vista's visa. Okay, that's a risk all the time. If you wait for 90 days, maybe less of a risk. But if you're out of status, you also have violated your immigration status. So there's also an inadmissibility there for overstaying, unlawful presence, things like that. So It's better to make sure that your marriage is bona fide, first of all. It's better to make sure that when you entered on a visitor's visa, you didn't misrepresent your intent. So those are the things that I would say you should be worried about versus trying to just stay out of status to marry. I wouldn't say either or is better. Okay. All right, Santana, you're welcome. I'm glad you got my answer. You're welcome. Let me give you a little heart here. Okay. Who else? Who else do I see? What do you think of the southern border for migrants and asylum? Which one is the southern border again? Gigi. That's my cat's name, Gigi. I've seen two people with my cat's name, Tom Tom and Gigi, on my lives. Thank you. And every time I see you, I'm definitely going to answer your questions because you remind me of Gigi. So let's see. I think that's it, guys. I think I answered most of them because I've scrolled through and I've seen the same questions over and over. For those of you on YouTube and Facebook, I didn't really see many questions from you all, but thank you for being here anyway. I think I got one from Elizabeth. And on Instagram, I think I've given you all answers. I don't think I missed any questions here, but yes. Reach out to me, you all, for more insights on this for one-on-one time. Let me go ahead and prepare for my consultation that's coming up today. I'm not even sure what's that consultation about. I think it's a marriage green card situation as well. But yeah, we can definitely help you if you're wherever you're located in the USA. We help clients all over with their immigration issues. So reach out to us, especially for family-based immigration issues. We do not provide you with a husband or a wife because I don't know, I'm not a matchmaker and it's illegal. So definitely don't be asking me those types of questions. Just come in if you're already married, if you're engaged, and you want to know what to do next once you do get married, okay? All right. Thank you very much for your time today. It was great chatting with you all live. Again, my name is Ify, USA immigration attorney, licensed attorney for some of you all who keep on going to these non-licensed people who mess up your cases. Just make sure you're going to a licensed attorney who has the resources and different things available to fight for you so you can increase your chances of actually living in the USA permanently with your husband, your wife, your children. All right. So with that, I'm going to say goodbye. Have a wonderful rest of the week, and I will see you on Thursday. All right. Thursday, 11 a.m. Eastern time, or whenever you see me live. But generally is 11, 11:15 or 11:30, just depending on our schedule that day and what's going on. But sometime in the morning, you'll see me here. Okay. All righty. Thank you very much. Have a blessed day. Bye-bye.